Hello, it's me, Mira, and this is the story of the most difficult hike I've ever done in my life so far. 2 hours away from the city, we arrived here in Kapatagan, which is also the jump-off area, and here's where the story began. Personally, hiking is fun because you ascend through great physical effort, and in the process, your perspective widens and your view of the world grows more expansive. As always, it's easy at the start of the hike. You feel light, energized, and convinced that the rest of the trail will be just as manageable. But it's not. This is an overnight hike and you are carrying a lot of things including your sleeping bag, your tent, your insulators. There are porters available in the area and they charge 15 kilos for 1,500 pesos. Here we started moving through rural landscapes where you can see local gardens, farmland, and simple village homes, the humble everyday life of the village setting. Eventually, it started drizzling, so we stopped by a nearby store and put on our raincoats. What started as a drizzle quickly became real rain, and I could already tell at this point that the journey was about to become much more challenging.
Ang ganda ng flowers!
We hiked during the last week of October 2025, and what started as a group of around 25 people was reduced to just 10 people, as many backed out because of the earthquake that struck Davao. Due to the strong rain, each step became tougher, and the trail quickly turned slippery and exhausting. Thus, we needed to take more stops than usual just to catch our breath and regain our strength. The wind also started to get cooler, adding another layer of discomfort as we pushed our way up the trail. We hoped that the rain would let up, but our tour guide told us this is how it always is in the rainforest. And even on days when Davao City is sunny, he said that it's still rainy up here. A piece of advice: wear the right shoes. I didn't, and I learned it the hard way, which you'll see in part 2. We finally arrived at Basakan A Camp, still 9 kilometers away from the summit. The road ahead was long, but the sight of a signage was enough to make me smile. The way up kept getting steeper and the thick mud and non-stop rain only made everything more difficult. At that point, I found myself saying silent prayers, just wishing we'd reach the campsite soon, because that would mean day 1 hike was finally over. Carrying my 8.5 kilo backpack, wearing a raincoat with my pants and feet already soaked, and gripping my trekking pole, we finally reached Bughaanan. It was only 400 meters away from Basakan, but it definitely didn't feel like just 400 meters. Every step felt like a small battle. Still, reaching that spot gave us a tiny sense of progress, a reminder that even the slowest steps were getting us closer to camp. I really appreciated how encouraging our tour guides were. Even in the cold and constant rain, they stayed cheerful, smiling at us, and assuring us that we were getting closer to our goal for day 1. I also appreciated how many men were in our group. They were incredibly helpful, guiding us through the steep paths and muddy trails and making sure no one was left struggling alone. They were cheerful and funny too, which helped lighten the mood despite the difficult trail. After 2.2 kilometers, we finally reached Big Rock E-Camp, the last signage before the campsite. We were tempted to rest longer, but knowing we were already near gave us the energy we needed, and we chose to keep going to the campsite. I also spotted the bright orange nuts on the trees and branches. According to the guides, these are placed there to guide hikers and make sure no one gets lost in the vastness of the mountains. The moment I saw the wallpaper-covered house, I knew we had finally made it to the campsite. A wave of relief flooded over me. The rest that I had been quietly praying for was finally within reach, and at that point, all I wished for was to be under a roof and out of this relentless rain. Eating under a roof brought so much relief, even if we didn't have a spoon and fork. After that, we pitched our tents, processed everything we had gone through, rested for a bit, and prepared for dinner. The meals were part of the 4,500 pesos fee we paid, but we were required to bring our own plates, cups, and utensils. There was no electricity and no outlets, so we depended entirely on our flashlights to make it through the night. They did have toilets, but showering was strictly not allowed. You'll also need to bring an extra waterproof bag. This is important because you'll be leaving most of your belongings at the campsite and carrying only the essentials for day 2, the push to the summit. To our sleep, see you in part 2.